What up, Brian? What's going on, my man? Guys, thank you guys for tuning in. I'm going to let a few people get out here. The Chevy, no Ross Johnson. Do you know Ross Johnson?
I do, yeah. That's my best man in my wedding.
That's his best man in his wedding. That's crazy. Let's see here. Sharing this guy live to a couple of places. Sharing a group. I'm eventually going to get kicked out of some of these groups, but I don't really care. So we're going to let Tara that's his stepsister. Cool. Tara, she's with are you still with the Holly McRae group? Gotcha. All right, guys. So we're gonna let a few people come in, and then we're gonna go right to it. So I've got my man Chevy Emmert here. He's one of my top agents at my firm. He's a rock star, and we're gonna go tell you a little bit of a story on how I got here and how Chevy got here. We'll just let a few more people tune in. Hope everybody's having a great Tuesday. So this is Real Talk Mondays. I come live every Monday at 12 o'clock. I was sick yesterday, so we're coming live today. And we're going to go over the power of perseverance and what that actually means. You've heard it before, but we're going to go dive into really what perseverance means and the impact on it and the long-term scale, and kind of share our testimonies on what we did and what we've been able to do. And guys, I'm looking at 3 different screens, so if I look a little crazy or if Chevy looks a little crazy, that is why. So, guys, it's Coach Jay Combs. Come live every Monday, and today we're going to go over the power of perseverance and what that actually entails, featuring my man Chevy Emmert over here representing Blount County. And yeah, boy. Let's see here. See, the problem is if you guys are going to do a live podcast, you got to put your devices on airplane mode. And if you have an Apple Watch that's connected to your data, you have to learn how to turn that off. I've yet to master that. So thanks, guys, for tuning in. So we're going to dive right in. So I come live every Monday. Just give you a little background on my story. I started in real estate in 2016. I've spent probably the last 8 to 9 years of my life in growing and dedicating my time, my energy, and personal growth and development. And that's the biggest thing that we like to do now is learn, teach, and implement into our business immediately. So most people don't realize that we've been in business for such a short period of time. We've been able to do over 300 real estate transactions, $85 million in real estate sales. I've helped numerous people start a real estate career, and Chevy's really won a true testimony. And if you have a mission, if you have a goal in mind, that if you persevere long enough, you can actually make those things come to reality. So I met Chevy in when did I meet you, Chevy? 2013, 2014?
Yeah, it was. I guess it was 4 years ago, 4 or 5 years ago. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So me and Chevy worked together at Verizon, and I remember training or helping train Chevy, and one of our guys asked him to sell this phone, and he freaked out, and it's cool to watch.
Yeah. It was one of the most embarrassing moments in my life, for sure. Yeah.
What happened?
Oh man, I didn't know anything about sales, and here I am in the sales job. And someone says, "Hey, sell this phone," and so I'm like, just word vomiting everywhere, and everyone pretty much laughed at me, and it wasn't great. But you know what? I learned a lot from that, and as it turned out, I'm pretty darn good at sales.
Yeah, so Chevy just started telling every spec about the phone.
Yeah,
and we all just stopped and said, "Listen. You're gonna tell people that this thing takes great photos. It's gonna take lasting memories. It's got a huge screen. It's gonna make you feel great when you're doing it." So putting people into the picture, but it was funny because as I was walking in leadership there, I got to see him make his way into leadership as well as soon as I left. So I got in real estate in March of 2016, and I remember Chevy. We went out one night and we're talking, and he was like, "Man, I don't know when, I don't know how, but one day we're gonna work together and we're gonna do big things." And that was in 2016 that he told us. And I always, and most everybody that's watching this, here in Knoxville and surrounding areas knows that I'm always trying to recruit really good, really talented, hungry people. And I believe that everyone has the opportunity and everyone has the talent as long as they're willing to train themselves or can acquire the talent. And Chevy just was like, "Man, I'm going to go out and we're going to go and create big things." Well, at the time, I just thought he had too many beers. And I thought he was blowing
smoke. Let's be real,
I did, though. But, so in, about March or April of this year, Chevy was like, "Man," actually, no, it was a little bit earlier. It was like February. He had said, "Man, I'm thinking about
the year.
I'm thinking about making that transition. What do I need to do?" He was like, "I believe in it. I believe in the mission. I believe in where we're going. What's the action plan?" And it didn't happen right away. It took him several months. And remember, this is probably 1.5 2 years from the original time that he said he wanted to come work with me. And at that time, Chevy was my first client. Chevy was my very first transaction. And I remember I didn't know what termite letters were. We got him this great home warranty, which we were joking about. I didn't know what kind of home warranty or what it meant. I said, "Dude, you got this home warranty. It's great. It's going to be the greatest thing ever." And needless to say, it didn't work out with that. But, 1.5 years later, he was like, "Hey, let's go out and I want to try this." And no vest today, Rich. Yes, sir. Brian, I need to go grab a vest. No vest today. But he's like, "Look, man, I want to grow in my career. I've excelled. I've stepped up in leadership with Verizon, but I'm not being able to truly maximize my potential." And he came, and I remember I just started our home real estate, right? I literally just made that transition and started new ways, separated my team completely, and starting. And I'm like, "Okay, great. Well, I'm in attack mode." And a lot of people in that situation that I was in would have stopped, and they would have freaked out and panicked, and they would have most likely crumbled, And I'm glad that the people in my previous team, they still went out and did their things. But I know that everybody had to take a step back to get to where we are today. And I said, "Look, man, here, I'm going to fast track you, and here's a script. Start making calls." And I'm gonna throw him under the bus a little bit real quick because it just shows I sat down and we had probably a 2-hour role play training session yesterday.
Yeah.
And you were telling, Chevy was telling him, this new agent, and how he's went through all the struggles and had to go through all the tribulations to actually get where he's at today. And Chevy's only been in the business for 6 months. And Chevy was like, "Yeah, my very first call, I was so nervous. I didn't know what I was doing, and it was a Google lead, and it came inbound, and they're like, 'Well, where'd you get my information?' And Chevy said, 'Google.'"
Yeah, they hung up on me immediately. There was no saving that one. So, yeah, I definitely learned on the fly though. Like Jay said, he I'd shadowed him a couple days. And I heard the script a couple times, and then Jay was pretty much like, "Well, sink or swim," and he showed me how to use the Zillow. So, I went through, called all the FISBOs, and after 100 calls, I was like, "All right, I'm starting to get the hang of this."
Yeah. So Chevy, from someone that's someone that never was in sales until you started with Verizon, kind of tell people about the struggle with what you actually truly went through, because I know a lot of the audience that watches on a weekly basis, they're going through the exact same thing.
Are you talking about real estate or
both? Just both. This will be pretty much everybody.
Yeah. Well, like I've always been good at talking with people. Prior to cellular sales or Verizon, I was bartending and waiting tables, and so like I'd always had that kind of hustle mentality of let's work a lot, let's work hard, and just make make as much money as I want. And so then transitioning from that into sales, it was real similar, but the biggest part about it was just really like learning to read people, and just like the whole other side of going from just being able to talk to people to being able to sell to people, and I guess that was kind of the biggest struggle for me. Also, like, I'm not a super aggressive person by nature, so I really had to like find my own path and my own way that works well to where I can be a top producer, but still be comfortable in my skin and do the thing, or just be the way that I wanted to be. But I learned so much of cellular sales, especially from Jay. I mean, he taught me a lot. There was some good leadership there that really got me up and going. But I'll tell you what, going from retail sales to real estate, where it's like you've got door swings versus you've got nothing, that was one of the scariest things that I've ever experienced in my life, because I've got a lot of bills and stuff, so just taking that risk was huge. But obviously it's worked out. But I guess if I could say anything to you guys, it's that just keep doing the work, stick in there, hang in there, and hard work always pays off.
I agree with that. So, in your experience, I call it getting kicked in the teeth, right?
Yeah, I felt like it. I felt teethless. I was toothless.
Oh man, this is great. I'm having fun this episode. I mean, so give somebody like an example of what you think as far as perseverance. I mean, going through that transition, getting a bunch of no's, like maybe share with the biggest no, or like the one that impacted you the most. Like, can you think back of a time where someone just shut you down so hard that you're like, holy smokes, maybe this isn't where I need to be?
I don't think there was one moment. I think it was more so just like really my first month. And I mean, it, again, like I said, I'm terrified because I'm really just like throwing myself, off the edge, just, sink or swim. And, in with real estate, starting off, which I'm sure, anybody that's been in the business knows this, but, it's really a roller coaster of emotions, I mean, you get your first client and you're freaking pumped about it. And then, you go out and you're showing houses. Well, then, they don't want to buy anything. So you're like, oh gosh, and then you do find something and you're like, oh, freaking great. And then the inspection report comes back and it's terrible. And so they're bailing out. Through. And then, some people just crumble after that. And so then you don't hear from them for a month and you're like, gosh, now I'm back to the drawing board. I don't have anything going on.
Or you get a listing.
My first listing, it was a disaster. And it wasn't anything because of us. It was just, that's just how it happened. It's like, I felt like everything I was doing was for nothing, and nothing was paying off. It was like, I was making the phone calls, I was coming every single day, I was going on appointments, doing everything that Jay had told me, and then everyone kept telling me like, look, just hang in there, like it's never going to be worse than it is right now, and that's the most truest thing that I've ever heard is when you're starting off in real estate, it's never going to be worse than it is right then. So, I hung in there and I kept making the calls and I, stayed as positive as I could, and eventually things just started rolling. I got one under contract, and I got another under contract, and then I got a bunch of listings, and then, just a month ago, I had, was it 4 listings go under contract in a week? Yeah. No, it was 3, and I got a buyer under contract. So, after I pushed through all the crap and all the hard times, things started rolling and they've just continued. I've got momentum building now, and
it's funny how Big Mo works.
Yeah.
So So I mean, we've got Josh is on there. I've got Will, my buddy Austin, Kaylee, Taylor's on here. Kind of tell everybody, if you could go back 6 months ago from knowing what you know now and give yourself day one advice, what would that advice look like? What would you tell yourself now, knowing what you do know?
Well, first of all, I would tell myself like, hey, it's gonna be fine. You know,
you're not gonna die.
You're not gonna die. You're not gonna go bankrupt. That was the big one. But no, I honestly, if I could go back, what I would do is I would make more calls. I mean, I made a ton of calls. Don't get me wrong. I think I made more calls than probably half the people in real estate do. But you know, I would tell myself to go even harder, make even more, and I would really, really try to script train. You know, I would try to get those scripts. I would try to get those down because, I mean, a big problem that I had was once I started getting momentum going, you know, I'm out showing houses, I've got these listings, I kind of slowed down on my lead gen. And so then, you know, it would go from like, I would have this huge month and then kind of a slower month. I mean, I was still closing deals, but not nearly like I was before. And then I'd have a big month, and you can tell like a direct correlation between when I'm lead genning the most and when I'm not. And I think I would tell myself just, you know, like keep at it, and you know, keep filling, you know, the pipeline. And I guess that's probably what I would tell myself.
So guys, anyone that's new in the business, what Chevy's getting at is he would go out and make sure that he trained and prepared. So perseverance isn't always a win, right? Perseverance is a journey. It's a journey.
I did a lot of losing.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely, and you will. You're going to lose. Mm-hmm. I think that people look at failure as a loss. I look at failure as an opportunity to learn. Yeah. And what Chevy just kind of said, it hit me because now, you know, like that's where I'm at now. Is like recruiting, finding people that are like Chevy. Like Chevy was not a polished salesperson when he started. And Chevy's been in the business for less than a year. He's going to close 16 deals in his first 6 to 7 months. And if you look, you always have to take into account your first 60 days is just building and letting people know you're in the business. So really, you're looking at 4 or 5 months where he's been able to do that. Where the average agent is only going to do 5 or 6 deals. I was looking at broker metrics in our market, and there were more than, I would say, 50, maybe 60, 70% of the entire broker metrics was under $2 million. You know, and Chevy had already surpassed that within the first 6. So, Will asked, did you get the 4 listings off making calls or referrals? It was all calls, right?
It was all calls, yeah. I didn't get my first referral until, well, I guess 2 months ago.
Absolutely.
2 months ago or so.
Referral is something, I mean, to get a referral,
you really have
for most people, you have to have business to start with. So the referral game. Will, if you've got questions on that, you can shoot us a private message, and we'll personally go over questions that you have. Mm-hmm. Anyone that has questions like that, we can go into that. But he hit on that. So, and I don't care what business, what area you're in, what platform that you're in. Brian, will you switch cameras? It doesn't matter what platform, no matter what any business that you're in, you've got to be willing to go out and let people know that you're in the business. And why not make sure that you're hitting the people that are looking to buy and sell now versus, you know, everyone else. So Chevy said I would go out and tell myself to practice more. He said script train more so that he could get polished quicker, so he could convert faster. And when you talk about perseverance, like when I first got into the real estate business, I didn't know anything about anything, right? I had no idea. I was working full time. Sorry guys, I need to take this stupid thing off. I was working a job full time, and dude, like I was like flying by the seat of my pants. And I almost lost my real estate license 90 days in the business because I was working a full-time job while I was trying to do real estate full-time as well. So I didn't let that stop me. And I'll give you guys an example. Like I remember being in the business for probably 45, 60 days and thinking, am I even cut out for this? And I've been in business for 2.5 years and been a part of well over 300 transactions for $85 million. 2.5 years ago, I was like, am I going to make it? Am I going to last? Like, just imagine if I didn't persevere on all those families that were helped may not have been helped. All those successes, all the relationships built would have never have happened if I would have stopped, if I would have given up. Like, when you go out and you're brand new in the business and you're trying to go out and create momentum and you're trying to splash, make a wave, and then all of a sudden you're in a situation where you get in trouble. Sorry, I'm putting this guy up here. Sorry about that, guys. My phone keeps going off. So like when I was 90 days in the business, I didn't know what the MLS was. I didn't know, or 60 days in the business. I didn't know anything about all that. Well, I'm going out and putting listings in the MLS and all of this, and I got fined. And it cost me several $1,000s in real estate fines because I wasn't trained, right? And that's where, when you go out and you're brand new in the business, you don't have money coming in, and boom, you're getting a fine. You're getting slapped on the wrist and having people come down on you when you're like, dude, if you guys would have set the expectations and set training protocols to where this wouldn't have happened, that wouldn't have happened, right? And that's where this business is the training, these industry, a lot of them have failed everyone watching. Like, everyone that's watching this, if they're in real estate, like, kudos if you're actually working real estate and that's your full-time job and you're making like a good income, good for you, because you persevered enough, because there's no training in this business. When I first got into business, I felt like slapped me on the butt, said good luck and let's do it. Right? Where Chevy got thrown into, like, here's a pot of coals, at least he had somewhat of a guideline in his ear every single day. A lot of us don't have that. Like, when I went in, like, I was like, I didn't know where to get leads, didn't know how to call leads, didn't know which ones to call, like, it was just one of those things. And easily I could have quit and I could have said, you know what, man, I'm going back to where I know that I can make, a good income. I know that, like, I had a safety net. But I didn't. I persevered on, and how blessed am I now to say that I made the sacrifice, I committed to it, I stayed the course, and now, I've got an agent that's 6 months in the business who's now training other people. Like, did you think in a million years that you would walk into a real estate office, close several deals your first few months, and then be in a situation where you could train them, that quick?
No, I didn't. I didn't think that it would go as fast as it did, just because I know several agents who kind of did the same thing that I did. They went from a retail sales job into real estate, and for them, a lot of them have been in real estate for a couple of years now, and I'm already doing more business than even they were. And I don't say that to brag. I just say that to kind of show the seriousness of it. But no, I didn't. It blows my mind whenever people come up to me and they're like, "Oh my God, man! Like, I seen your Facebook and I see what you guys are doing. Like, what are you doing that's working?" And it's like I'm just like, holy, like,
you can say shit.
Holy shit, like I've been in the business for 6 months and this person's been in the business for 2 years and they're asking me. But I love it. In my last position, I did climb to a position to where I was training people and helping new people. So I actually love that. That's something that I've always enjoyed. But to answer your question, guys, it's nuts. It really is.
And so, like, I want, because people get to hear me every week, but for you, less than, right at 6 working months now in the business full time. Tell me if you could go out and maybe share a personal story of a little bit of perseverance that you had to have, or maybe a story of where you went through something. I know you've got your teeth kicked in. Everyone's going to get their teeth kicked in. But as far as like that, maybe share a story on what's impacted you the most to get to where you are now.
Okay.
Remember, I mean, like, what was the hardest thing to get to where you are now, other than scripts, role playing? Like, I know, like, for me, it was almost losing my license. Like, that was hard, freaked me out. I thought I lost this. I didn't know. Like, I went through like a lot of emotional hard times when I was doing that. So maybe, like, what's been the biggest thing for you to have to overcome, or like the biggest upset that you've went through to be in the position where you are helping people that are 2 years in the business at this point in time in your career?
I mean, really.
I've got one in my mind for you.
What's that?
That big bar closing pretty quick.
Oh my gosh, oh, that's crazy. Yeah, I guess I could tell you that story. So, can I say that story?
Of course you can.
Okay, so like, I guess it's been like 3 months ago now. I, get in contact with this lead, and it's freaking fire. Like, it's like cash deal. It's going to be $500,000. They want to close in like 20 days. And I mean, like, I'm saving for a wedding, so I'm like,
he's like
dude,
$15,000.
I'm like, I'm about to do some serious damage to that bill. So, I go out and meet them, and the people seem cool. They're, they're local and everything. They seem fine. There wasn't really anything that sketchy about them, So we're out.
It's always a good way to start a story.
Yeah. So we're out like looking at properties, and I mean, we even put an offer in on one. It was a $450,000 house, brand new construction. We put an offer in. They didn't accept it because we did go in a little bit lower, and so we continued our search. I showed them property for a couple days, and then so the last time that we met, I showed up to a house to show it to them, and they did, and they weren't there, and so like 15 minutes passes, so I give them a call, and they don't answer. And then 20 minutes passes, and I give them another call, they don't answer. And so I text them, and I'm like, hey, are you guys gonna make it? Like, if we need to reschedule, it's fine. But she ended up texting me back, and the girlfriend said, yeah, we're on our way now. We got stuck in traffic. Long story short, they never showed up. So the next day, the girlfriend calls me and says, hey, I'm sorry I couldn't call you yesterday and tell you what had happened because because everything's been so crazy. Apparently, the dude, like, they'd only been dating for a couple days, or a couple weeks, I'm sorry. But anyways, this guy's like buying her a van, buying a new motorcycle, buying this $1 million house. This dude has like 7 warrants out for his arrest. Okay? I kid you not.
It's a true story, guys.
It's true. And so she says, hey, it turns out, this guy's not who he said he was. He has, 7 warrants out for his arrest in all these different states. And apparently, as they were meeting to come meet with me to go to the showing, the cops also met them and hauled him off to jail. He, like, had all these polygamy charges. A couple days later, we Googled him, and y'all wouldn't believe. Like,
I can't disclose the name, but yeah.
Yeah, there's a blog of this guy from just all kinds of women just bashing him, talking about how dirty he is, and he was married, and then married me, and then married so and so. I mean, it's crazy.
Susie Ann.
Yeah, I mean, so that whole deal, like, luckily at this point in my career, like, I had enough business going to where
he was already calloused as well.
Yeah, yeah, right. So I was like, oh, whatever, So we'll move on to the next one. And that's something that I've definitely learned in real estate, is that you're gonna have a bunch of stuff that doesn't work out, and you're gonna have a lot of stuff that does. I feel like the longer you're in the business, the more that shifts to where what you are doing does produce versus not producing. But, I've gotten to the point now to where, I treat things like that as, okay, great, well, I'm getting the bad part out of the way. You know, I'm getting the 40% that's not going to produce. I'm getting that out of the way now so that I can move on to the 60% that is going to produce.
Absolutely. And I mean, it's a journey. I mean, I can't make that any more clear, guys. The people that are the people that do persevere are going to persevere, right? The people that aren't. And that's the reason why so many people in this business don't pan out. I mean, in any sales job. I mean, I think that the turnover in this industry. What's up, Erica Mintu? The people in this industry, they'll come and they'll go, and it's part of it, right? Like I've learned to let that go, and the ones who are willing to show up every day, those are the ones that are gonna persevere. Those are gonna be the ones that make it. Those are gonna be the ones that will thrive and make the most out of it. In fact, like I want to see everybody grow, and Chevy knows, like I pour everything. I pour my soul into my business and my people. And there's times where like I care about their success, in my opinion, more than they care about their success. But people are people. And Chevy said it best the other day, because we were talking about motivating people and getting people's, getting them hyped, getting them wanting to work. And he was like, if you have to motivate a salesperson, it's probably not the right salesperson. And that one, like, you told me that, 2 weeks ago? Mm-hmm. And I mean, now it's in like my go-to. Like, if I got to motivate you, probably not the right one. Go on somewhere else. And it's funny, man, because like it's true.
I mean, the one thing in life that you can't give somebody is drive. You know, like for me, like I've always had drive because I've always hustled my butt off for everything that I have. Like, I mean, a lot of people look at me and they see that I got a new truck and, you know, and you know, I wear a name brand and stuff like that. And they're like, oh, well, you know, he probably has, you know, daddy's money or something. No, I don't. In fact, I've never even met my dad. Everything that I have, I've made for myself, you know, and that's because I have the drive. I don't have a college degree, you know. I don't have some connection that's hooked me up into the world. You know, everything I've done myself. You know, and you know, whenever we have people that come in, you're like, oh, well, we've just got to find his motivation. No, that's bullcrap. If you have to find their motivation, then just go ahead and kick them out the door. They're not going to work. You know.
Man, dropping some truth. So.
Well, I mean, it's Real Talk Monday. Really, Real Talk Tuesday.
It's Real Talk Monday, guys, but we're coming to you Real Talk Tuesday. We weren't feeling well on a Monday, so we're still committed to you. But that's some fire. I mean, that's true. And I mean, if you're watching that and you don't have motivation, Chevy's spot on. You know, I mean, it's probably not going to be a fit. And you're probably not going to make it. You know, like if we want to be real, that's the truth. And that's one thing that's hard for me because, you know, like I always want to pull people up, but at the end of the day, man, it's gonna be what you're willing to do, and it's gonna be your drive, because no one's ever gonna stop anybody from going out and getting it. It's just gonna be at that point in time where you have to reach out to people out there. So, guys, I hope y'all enjoyed this. If you have any questions, we'll get your questions answered. Brian, we love cash buyers. And, you know, if y'all know anyone that's looking to buy or sell here in the Tennessee area, we love the opportunity to help them. Travis, you're about 37 minutes too late, brother. We're closing down. But if y'all know anybody that's looking to buy or sell in this area, we love the opportunity to help them. You know, we service all of the surrounding areas here in East Tennessee, and we're headed to Middle Tennessee as well. If you guys know anybody that's looking for a new home in real estate, you know, and wants to get help with mentorship, leads, training, you know, you've got two guys right here that would love the opportunity to help them out. Any other questions that anyone has, let us know. Thank you guys for tuning in to Real Talk Mondays on a Tuesday.
On a Tuesday.
You want to leave them with anything?
Just do work, you know. If you want it, it's out there for you to get it. You just gotta go get it.
Absolutely. So persevere. The days that you're not feeling well, go out and do it anyways. And listen to me being a hypocrite because I didn't feel good yesterday. I should have done my podcast yesterday. So guys, I'm owning up to that. If y'all have any questions, reach out. I hope you guys got some value out of that. If y'all need anything, let us know. You can give us a shout. You can call my office, 865-851-8355. Tune in next time, guys.